Hi.
CBA Show. We are live, and joining us live is my co-host Clarice Lin and our amazing guest Sabrina.
Hello.
And today we are discussing Sabrina's journey, a hustler's wake-up call to work-life balance. And before we get into our Q&A and our interview with Sabrina, I just want to do a very quick introduction of our amazing guest. And Sabrina is a brain fitness coach and a life work balance strategist for busy professionals like you and I who want to improve their well-being while doing what they love without sacrificing their precious time. Sabrina works with clients that are mostly female entrepreneurs who juggle their personal life, family, and work. And Sabrina actually has a very interesting journey. Yes, to get to where she is today. And we are going to learn more about her journey in today's interview. And today, Sabrina is on a mission to change the lives of other business owners who want to have a thriving business without sacrificing their personal life. I think we all want that, right? She offers a life work. It is interesting you call this life work. Most people call this work life. So life work balance program that offers proven strategies and systems to help female entrepreneurs to get in control of their personal and professional life while successfully accomplishing their goals. Wow, that is just amazing, Sabrina.
It's a lot of fun, I have to say.
Yeah, I want to share Sabrina's LinkedIn with you guys if you want to follow her. Meanwhile, if you are joining us live, let us know where you are joining us from. We are live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, and we want to say hi to you. Can you see the screen right now or no?
No.
No, okay.
Probably change the layout as we were trying earlier.
Yeah.
Try to see.
Layout.
Yeah, I think. Yes.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Sabrina LinkedIn or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So I read
accomplished.
LinkedIn profile. Make she is an amazing lady. I had the great honor to connect with her in person quite a few times and just follow her. So are you ready to get started?
Absolutely. I'm always ready.
I will start with the first question. And you have been working in event and wedding planning for 17 plus years. You are also a brain fitness coach and a work-life balance strategist. You have a very interesting journey, as I introduced earlier, to get to where you are today, Sabrina. And so before we discuss your current life and professional career, let's travel back to history, to where you were when you just left Italy to come to the United States to start a new chapter in your life. So can you please share with us that story? What brought you to the United States? Was it hard for you to make that decision?
Yes, big yes, all capital letters. It was quite an experience, a huge change for me. I have to say my husband was the one who wanted us to move here because he fell in love with San Diego. He was coming here for business trips very often. And he kept telling me, we have to move. We have to move. The weather is amazing. The people are incredible. The country is full of possibilities. And I was like, I don't think so. I didn't want to leave Italy. I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to leave my friends. I didn't want to leave my life. But after I would say a couple of years, I said, yes, let's do it. So at least we try. You will not have any regrets. And let's see how it goes. So here we are, packing, moving. And I tell you, the first year, it was quite awful because I didn't like it. I didn't feel welcome. I didn't feel comfortable in a new country, new language, new people, new lifestyle. So it was pretty difficult. But I have to say, little by little, I got used to it. And now I absolutely love it. Such an amazing country. And you've been you've been living there for quite a while, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, at the beginning it was pretty challenging, I have to say. And our son was little; he was 2 at the time when we moved. So you can imagine me, my husband, and our son, the 3 of us in a completely different country, new place. I mean, I would say a courageous act we had, but I'm glad that we did it. Right now, I think that we did the right thing, also for our son, because he was able to grow up in a very diverse community, and I think it opened a lot of horizons for him. Instead of living in Italy, where we used to live, and Italy at the time, I'm talking about the mid-90s, it was, I would say, 99.9% Italian people. Now it's different because, you know, the world is more like a global place where you have different communities everywhere. But at the time, you would only find Italian people. Here, you would be in contact with so many different people coming from different countries. And I'm talking about San Diego, California, where you find a lot of different communities, a lot of different traditions, a lot of different races, and people coming from different areas of the world. And so I think it was an excellent experience, not only for us as adults, but also for him as a child growing up with kids coming from different countries. I think it was a benefit for him.
So for yourself, Sabrina, do you have like a particular story about how, I mean, like a fear or challenge that you were trying to overcome that you remember to sort of like strike you the most, I would say?
Well, I can tell you what I noticed at the beginning was the language barrier. I knew English, but I had studied English at school, in middle school and in high school. So the English that I knew was completely different from the English that I needed to use for daily life. You know, at school, we used to study all the important British and American authors. So I knew about everything about literature, but right? But the daily life things, oh my goodness, I was so challenged. And I remember the first thing that we needed was utilities at home. So like electricity, phone, you know, everything. And of course, my husband told me, you're the one, you know English better than me, so go ahead and call these utility companies. And I remember I called the phone company. At the time it was called Pacific Bell. Now we have a different company here in San Diego, but I called them and I didn't really know what to ask for. So I simply said, hello, we need a phone. And that was it. And I felt so embarrassed because the lady on the other side was like, this woman doesn't speak English, so let's see if I can help her. And you know, I've always been very self-conscious about my accent, about the language and everything. And so at the beginning, I would say probably for about 6 months or so, I had a very hard time to engage with other people. I am an introvert. I didn't know the language very well. And I know I have an accent. Oh my goodness, it was such a huge barrier for me. But I had to convince myself, and I started seeing myself as unique and different. So I used that as an advantage. Okay, so I'm different from other people. So that's how I can be recognized. And that's how people can remember me. So I started to switch that, you know, instead of hiding and being ashamed of my accent, I thought, well, maybe that could be a characteristic that I have, you know, and maybe people like it. So, you know, as I said, little by little, day after day, with the experience of everyday life, I was able to overcome that fear, overcome that challenge, and here I am, still with my accent, but I don't care. You know?
I can so relate to your journey, and Sabrina. Like, I think for me also, like very conscious of my own accent and English. The same thing, the way I studied English in China was very useless in terms of day-to-day life.
Right.
And when I first came here, I literally didn't understand what people ask me, what's up, or like all those like simple things people say, but I had no idea what people were talking about. It was really hard. And then I think even for me, just embracing like video content, being in front of the camera, I think even though I started kind of early, I could have started earlier if I were not so concerned about my English. Yes.
Yeah.
So totally can relate. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, so true.
Yeah, I think it's the same, probably the same for people who have moved abroad. I mean, even though in Singapore we do speak English as well, but we didn't really learn the pronunciation. So the pronunciation was not focused on. We were just learning grammar, spelling, but not to pronounce it properly. So in the British context, my English is not proper English.
I love your accent. You also have to think, I'm talking about the mid-90s. Mid-90s, there were not so many people traveling and moving and, moving abroad like we see here in these times. I mean, now it's so common for people to move abroad or spend some time in different countries. At the time, we were one of the first families in my cities to move to a different city, and they were like, oh my goodness, So it was a completely different perspective, I think.
Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt. I just want to say a quick hi to, we have a bunch of people joining us on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And right now I'm having some trouble to connect to our YouTube channel. So I don't know what happened. I just want to say hi to people who are here on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So thank you for joining us.
Yay. So cool. So let's fast forward to a couple of years later after you have been in the US. You shared a story about yourself when you were experiencing burnt out. You were really busy with your career back then as a event planner, and doing wedding as well. So how did this burnout actually come about, and how did it actually impact your personal and professional development?
Yes, absolutely. It was in 2011. That was the turning point in my career. I was extremely busy because I loved my job. I still do, but I'm not that active anymore because I'm shifting to life coaching. But I remember loving my job so much that I would never say no to new projects, to new clients or repeat clients. I was always, yes, I'll do that for you. Yes, absolutely. I would be very, very honored to help you with this event or this wedding. I was involved in different charity organizations as well as their event planner, producer, or hospitality chair. So they would use my talents and skills for their own events, like nonprofit galas and fundraisers, etc. So again, it was a very, very busy couple of years, I would say, starting in end of 2009 until 2011. That was probably the most prolific time of my career. And I started seeing that something was off with my body, with my thinking. I was always fatigued. I was always negative, and I started not to enjoy what I was doing with my clients anymore. And that was not good, because when you don't enjoy working with your clients, it means something is not working, right? And so first I thought, well, maybe I'm too tired, maybe I'm working too much, maybe I'm experiencing burnout, but then also health issues added up to the equation. And that's how I realized that my body was trying to tell me something. And that's when I started to get a little worried, because when you don't feel well, then your focus is completely different. So you don't think about your performance in business, but you think about your health. And that's where basically everything stops. Luckily, there were not major health issues, but there were different symptoms that didn't make any sense. And I started to see doctors and specialists, and nobody could find the reason why I was experiencing those symptoms. And they ran a lot of different tests. Everything was perfect. So they told me, well, nothing is wrong. So maybe you're working too much. Take it a little easy and don't worry about it, right? But I am a super type A+++ perfectionist. And I was like, no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about that. Right? I need to find a solution. I need to find what's causing these bad and negative thoughts and this fatigue, this stress in my life. I knew that there was something more than the too much work. And so I realized that it was my lifestyle that was not the right thing to do. I was working a lot of hours. I was not sleeping enough, probably like 3 or 4 hours every night. I was eating a lot of sugar. I always had a sweet tooth, but a very bad sweet tooth. I mean, I could eat desserts all day long without anything else. And so I realized all those things were not beneficial to my body, to my brain, because I had fatigue and I couldn't concentrate. My focus was very low. And my energy, my productivity, everything was suffering, basically. So I started to educate myself. I did a lot of research, extensive research, and I found out about the body and mind connection, about the gut and brain connection, and I found out that food basically is the fuel. If you want to perform in life and be at 100%, you have to fuel your body with the right foods. And that was the starting point. And I was like, so let's change the diet. So I removed all sugar, gluten, dairy from everything that I was eating. And I started to move towards very clean, organic foods, whole foods. And that was the first change. And then I forced myself to sleep more, at least 7-8 hours a night. And I tell you guys, after about 2 weeks, I was waking up in the morning and I wanted to sing, something that never happened in my life. My mind felt like uncluttered. And it was amazing. I discovered a new person. And so basically, after about a month, I was a completely different person. So I went back to working, but with a completely different approach. So I was not killing myself during the day. I was taking breaks every hour or so. I was sleeping more. I was dedicating more time to myself. I was eating better. I was exercising more regularly, because before it was random exercise here and there whenever I had the time. And so giving myself more attention allowed me to be more present in my business. And I was even more successful after that, because I achieved better goals and faster. So it was like a revelation. And I'm so grateful for that turning point, because really it showed me that by changing your lifestyle, you can change completely, your point of view about life and business. And so that's how life-work balance came to life, because I realized, oh my goodness, people put work before everything, but it doesn't make any sense, because we are human beings, not human doings. So if you take care of yourself first, then you can take care of your work. If you're not there for your work, who will? Right? I don't know, when you talk about work-life balance, people say, oh, no, there's nothing like that. Of course, because you keep considering the two like competing interests, and you have to find a balance. In reality, life comes first. You come first. When your body and brain are aligned and work together, then you can take care of your work.
Wow, so many great points. So this intentionally that you call this life-work balance, and now I see why. Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Like yesterday, I was hosting my show. I shared with some of you. Like I got some food poisoning, and then I was just feeling bad. I didn't do anything the whole day. I was sleeping, and I felt awful. Right? See, like I really started to see, like our health is everything. Like when you are not feeling well, you can't produce any value. Exactly. So how many hours did you used to sleep, Sabrina? And now you sleep 7 to 8 hours.
Yes. Well, before it was probably 3, 4 at the most, because I thought, well, if I work more hours and I sleep less, then I have more time to work and to do whatever I need to do. But it's actually the opposite, because, sleep is not only a resting phase. A lot of people think, oh, I'll take a nap 3 or 4 hours and I will be good to go. No, it's not like that. And I'm so obsessed with sleep, because sleep is a restorative phase. It's where we encode memory. It's where we cleanse ourselves. There's a system in our brain that probably a lot of people don't know about. It's called glymphatic system, that basically acts like a housekeeping thing. And while we sleep, it cleanses everything. It gets rid of all the toxins that build up during the time when we are awake and producing, basically. And if we don't sleep enough, those toxins will stay in your brain. And in the long run, they can cause negative effects on your health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of something my parents always mention in Chinese history. I don't know if Clarice knows this. And like in Chinese like medicine, we believe like for example, 1 a.m. you cleanse your liver, and 2 a.m. like at different hours you cleanse different part of your body. So is that kind of something? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. During sleep, we are subject to a lot of processing in our body, and basically we are regenerating our cells. We're cleansing our cells. We're cleansing the system. And not only that, but sleep is also responsible for our internal clock, which is the circadian rhythm. There's so much to talk. I mean, if I had 8 hours or so, I could explain everything about it, but of course we don't, because the circadian rhythm is responsible for our hormone production, our metabolic process. It's responsible for so many things in our body. And if we don't respect that rhythm in our 24 hours, so the sleep-wake cycle, everything goes upside down in our body. And again, you set yourself up for health issues in the long run. Maybe you don't realize at the beginning, but when you get older, your body is completely unbalanced. And, it's not good.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. So you call yourself a brain fitness coach. So first of all, I wonder what does that mean? And second, what's the connection between brain fitness and life-work balance? So can you explain those two to us?
I love this question because these are my favorite topics. So I got certified as a brain fitness coach because I wanted to know more about the science behind everything that we do that happens in our brain. I am a holistic life coach. So it means that I look at my clients as a whole, not only as a person trying to reach life goals or business goals, but also as an individual, as we were saying, as a human being. So what I ask them is not, okay, so what's your goal in life? What do you want to achieve? What are your blocks? So what are your challenges? I ask them very specific questions at the beginning, like, what do you eat? How many hours do you sleep? How often do you exercise? How much time do you give to your self-care? These are questions that not a lot of life coaches ask, because for me, taking care of yourself first comes first. You are the priority. And so brain fitness coaching was actually something that I found a few years ago. And I said, this is absolutely what I want to learn. I want to learn what happens in the brain. What are the processes, the neurotransmitters, everything that happens when you decide to do something, when you decide to create a habit. And also help my clients to slow down their cognitive decline. So a lot of people think that as a brain fitness coach, I help them with crossword puzzles. And I'm like, no, that's not that. I help them slow down their cognitive decline. I help them to keep their brain sharp and highly performant by following, a nutritious diet, nutrient-dense diet, the right types of exercise depending on what they want to achieve, calming their mind, enhancing their mind, enhancing their focus with different goals that they have. And also, again, be healthier, not only in their body, but also in their brain, because body and brain are a system. People think they're two different entities, but they're connected. They're all one. So brain fitness coaching fits perfectly in the life-work balance strategy.
That's right.
Again, body and brain are connected, and what you do to your body, you do to your brain. What you eat influences your brain performance. what you do when you move your body, you produce neurotransmitters that are critical for our mental health. Like serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine. These are excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters that have so much influence in your everyday life. So that's why I wanted to specialize myself in brain fitness. I tend to say brain wellness because, again, brain fitness, people think about exercise, but it's not that. It's more like brain wellness. So you help your brain to give you maximum performance and optimal health.
Wow, this is so interesting. So interesting. Yeah. Shows how much I don't know about this topic.
This really explains why we need to sleep more.
Right? Yes, I know. Yeah. It seems counterintuitive, but if you think about it, I mean, when clients come to me, they're like, Sabrina, I try to juggle family, work, all these digital distractions. I use social media so much for my business and I get so addicted, but I get so tired. And then at the end of the day, after a long day at work, I have to take care of my family. I know that something is missing in my life. What can I do? And so I help them with these principles. So eating better, sleeping more, exercising regularly, loving themselves, like self-care, and then owning their life. So taking care of their stress and creating healthy habits. Because this is what basically happens. So you eat better by taking time to cook your own meals instead of convenient fast food. So this fuels your body and your brain. And then you sleep more hours so that you can regenerate your cells and increase your energy, your focus. You move so that your body and brain are energized. And then you dedicate time to yourself so you do not have to struggle with negative thoughts, with stress, with overwhelm. And so once your body and brain are healthy and working together, you increase your energy, you increase your clarity, you increase your positivity, you increase your creativity, and you improve your focus and productivity at work. And so as a result, you get more successful and you get more profitable. So that's basically what I help my clients to achieve, life-work balance. And so they can get better individuals with better well-being in life and better business people in their job. So.
Yeah. I just saw this comment from my dear friend Chitachi. She said she asked you, how did you function on 3 hours? Which is
I didn't.
Right? But many of us just feel like if we push ourselves harder, sleep less, we could have more accomplished. It is just, especially in this entrepreneurial environment, right? Like we always say, there are phrases, what is sleeping is for the dead or something?
Yeah, exactly.
We have so many phrases like that. And even myself sometimes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of not sleeping enough. I'm definitely guilty of this. Yeah.
Well, I thought sleep was a waste of time. I was like, why should I need to sleep, right? And that's what happened. So again, I'm very grateful for what happened to me because it opened my eyes. It was such an eye-opening experience, and it brought me the ability to learn more, to educate myself, and now I can help others to achieve higher performance in their life.
Yeah.
So I actually have a question for you, Sabrina.
Yes.
So you was talking about how, the brain and the body working together so you can, perform, be in your optimal health, probably maximum productivity. So do you think that with this, with the social media and people constantly being on alert all the time, do you think there's anything to have to do with the mental health and the balance between the life and the work?
Absolutely. Yeah. Social media is, I don't want to be negative because I love social media. I use social media and I am a big proponent because especially if you have a business, I think you must be on social media. But the way I use it is a little different. So I try to be very respectful about my time and respectful of my audience. So I don't post very often. I try to post whatever can be useful for my audience. And that changed, I would say, about a year ago when I moved to a new place. That month, I didn't really have time to post a lot, but you know what? I felt so good. And it basically was like a digital detox for me. For the entire month, I probably posted like twice or 3 times on my social media accounts. And I actually saw more engagement from my audience, and I felt much better.
Mm.
And so I thought, well, so maybe I don't have to be there every single day. You know, I can just be there and listen and respond, but I don't have to post incessantly every single day just to capture the attention of my audience. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So I take it a little easier. And it works for me. Of course, every business is different and you might have different needs. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the way to go, but definitely social media is creating a lot more overwhelm, a lot more stress. It's one more thing to do during our busy life. And, you know, not only that, but I noticed that a lot of people feel they are comparing themselves so often. That creates stress, overwhelm, the feeling of not being enough, the feeling of not being good enough, and that adds up to the stress that they have in their daily life. So they're busy, they're tired, they have things to do, the to-do list is never ending, plus they have to be on social media and they have to dedicate time. And very often you work and then you hear, oh, I know that I have to take breaks. Okay, so I'll take a break for 10 minutes. So you go to your phone and check social media updates. Well, that's not a break. You know? So basically, you're incessantly connected, either on your computer or on your phone or on your tablet. And this is not good for our body and brain because, again, our brain cannot stop. You know, it's not stopping. I have a couple of books that I would like to recommend regarding that. I don't know if you know about Cal Newport. Is a professor and he is a computer scientist, but he's also a millennial, but he has never been on social media. He doesn't have a social media account. And he wrote a fantastic book called Digital Minimalism. I don't know if the audience knows. And he basically suggests that you take a 30-day digital declutter to get rid of all the optionals that you have about social media accounts or social media distractions. And then you reintroduce what is important or necessary or needed in your life little by little and see what you can live without. So that's, you know, a way to help you be more focused on the things that are more important. So that's one book. And the other one that I think is even more useful is called Life Scale by Brian Solis. So basically where Cal Newport stops with the 30-day digital declutter, Life Scale enhances because it gives you a lot of different solutions on how to be more present, more mindful, to really love what you're doing and really change the way you look at life and at yourself. You're more present in everyday life. So it gives you different options and different solutions on how to create a more meaningful life by following this step-by-step process in different chapters. This is something that I absolutely love reading. So Digital Minimalism, specifically to social media, and Life Scale, if you want to have a broader perspective about these digital distractions. So you break free from distractions and you focus more on yourself and what is more important in your life. I think we need that today in this digital society.
Oh, absolutely. Those are, I heard so much about this book, Life Scale. Definitely on my reading list. I want to check it out. And Digital Minimalism, I haven't heard of it, but I'm going to. I shared the link in the comment section, everyone. If you want to check them out, you can just click on the link.
I think it will be really, really useful for our audience. I think this is something that everyone's sort of struggling with. Like they feel they have to be on social media and then it's just too much. And then they feel like they have to keep checking the phone. I mean, just look at it. Every time you go out, in the queue, you know, in the bus stop, everyone's just busy looking at their phone, like as if there's one message coming in every second. Actual fact there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we go back to the neurotransmitters that we briefly mentioned. You know, this dopamine release that you have every time you check your phone, and all this things happening in your body, and this how can I say, this crazy seeking for I don't know the word, but checking social media, whenever you check social media updates, because you want to see if someone liked your post and what happened. Do you have this FOMO attitude, right? That is really draining your energy, and it's completely shifting your focus from the things that are most important to these things that, yes, they can be important, but they can wait, and we get trapped in this craziness all day long. So now I live with JOMO, which is joy of missing out. If I miss something, that's okay. you know.
Actually, it's interesting. I think yesterday I just had a conversation with someone about this. Like, how on social media, like they send you a notification, hey, catch it before it's gone, or like, oh, only limited time available. And I think all the messages that we receive on a day-to-day basis, just unconsciously, is influencing us. It's like kind of perpetuating this fear of missing out, right? So I love this JOMO, joy of missing out. It's almost like you have to work so hard to tell yourself it is okay to miss out. It is, everything will be here. Sometimes yeah, exactly. During, like, after I take a kind of digital detox and then I come back, and then everything's still the same. I mean, like, things change.
So true. Yes, you're living proof. Exactly. You do digital detox very often, so you can confirm, right? Life goes on.
Do you know
I think that fear is in our brain. We produce that fear, like, right? And we are slaved to that fear and by that fear, and create this box for us. If we are not following a certain way, we just feel like, oh, like it is self-induced. Yeah.
So true.
Something I've heard from one of my colleagues before. When you get a missed call sometimes and you don't know who it is, and then you're saying to yourself, well, if it's important, the person is going to call again. Yeah. So the next time you miss an important social media news, well, if it's valuable and meant for your eyes, it's going to come back to you again. So
that's such a big point, Clarice. Yeah. Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah. So, like, so far we discussed lots of definitely eye-opening so far. Sabrina, I can see from the comments on LinkedIn, on Facebook, everyone is loving you. Great content. So now, can you give us some, like, many of us are entrepreneurs, we work long hours, and because sometimes you love what you do, you just tend to work a lot. So can you give us some specific, like, tips or strategies that we can follow that can help us achieve life-work balance and to be healthier and even more successful in a more holistic way?
Absolutely, yes. So as I mentioned, I have these 5 basic principles that I follow every day, and that are part of my program. So my clients also follow the same. And these are eating better, sleeping more, exercising regularly, loving yourself, which is about self-care, and owning your life. So this is where you apply all the beautiful principles and all the beautiful habits that you created, and you put them in practice for your business goals. So as far as eating better, I know we're all busy, and a lot of my clients tell me, I don't have time to cook. So I tell them, well, spend a few hours on Sundays with your kids if you have a family, and do prepping. That can help with your cooking during the week. But the point, basically, the goal is to reduce inflammatory foods. Inflammatory foods are all processed foods, prepackaged foods that have a lot of empty calories. They have a lot of artificial sweeteners or ingredients that the body doesn't want. And so inflammatory foods, they can cause oxidative stress in your body. They can disrupt your immune system, so they make you weaker. Your brain will react to that, and you will be less performance, right? So there's a little thing that I want to talk about, which is the gut-brain connection. A lot of people don't know about it, but what you eat can influence your brain, because gut and brain are directly connected. And a lot of neurotransmitters, which are these chemicals responsible for your well-being, are produced in the gut. So you have to be very careful to what you eat. So a lot of fruits and vegetables. I always say eat the rainbow. So eat all those colorful vegetables and fruits that have a lot of antioxidants. They keep you stronger and the immune system will thrive. Also stay away from possible offenders. These might be but sugar, refined sugar, for absolutely. It could be gluten, it could be dairy, all those foods that don't really bring benefits to your body, but they create inflammation. Okay, so the eating better. And then sleeping, as we were saying, force yourself to sleep at least 7-8 hours a night. As we were saying, people think, no, I cannot do that. I cannot afford to sleep more because I have a lot to work on. I have a lot of clients. I have my family. I have to take kids to school. So you have to go to bed earlier. So you have to make sure that you sleep 7 hours. But when you sleep more, you will work smarter because your brain will function better. So you will need less hours at work. Again, it seems counterintuitive, but when you start sleeping more, you will see that you can accomplish more in less time. So the time will still be 24 hours, but you will basically use it in a different time, much smarter. And then exercising regularly. And a lot of people, I don't want to go to the gym. I hate working out. And I tell them, you don't have to work out at the gym. You can dance, you can play sports, you can go take a hike, you can go running, you can do whatever you want, just move your body. Doesn't really matter. Walk in nature, be under sunlight. Sunlight is so good for your body. Vitamin D, it improves your mood, you're less depressed, you're happier. It gives you a completely different perspective about life, And then self-care. Self-care, people think it's just drink your water and have a massage every week. And I said, there's much more about that. Self-care is so important. It's not a luxury. It's not optional. It's not a sign of laziness. People think it's a sign of laziness, taking care of yourself, but it's so important, right? So body and brain need that you take a break. And we were saying with social media, just take a break from the madness, from the craziness, So this includes saying no more often. This includes to giving priorities to family and friends. This includes to spending time with yourself. It's so beautiful. And so get up from that computer chair and just do something that you love. Read a book, call a friend, take a walk, play with your dog or cat. I do that all the time with my cat, I have so much fun.
It's so amazing just listening to you talk.
There's so much you can do, right? Yeah, use your creativity and just use your body. It's there for you to move, to go around, and then owning your life. So make sure that you keep your stress under control, because this is one of the biggest enemies in today's society. Because again, stress opens up to a lot of health issues and problems that you might have later in life. And just, again, follow these principles and create healthy habits. I know it's difficult, and that's why a life coach is very beneficial, because a life coach can keep you accountable with all the habits that you want to create. But again, it's about thinking about yourself first. It's not selfish. It's something that you need to do in order to achieve better goals later.
Yeah. Here is a question, Sabrina, if you don't mind answering. Is there an echo?
Yeah, there's an echo.
And so our friend, I don't know why is there an echo. So our friend Ross Brand made a comment on Facebook, and he said that he's feeling guilty that he cannot reply to every message, comment, and share that relates to him or his work. I feel the same way. So how do we deal with that? Especially for us, digital marketers, we kind of rely on like people talking to us and this social media engagement. So any tips you can share with us?
A client of mine, I was just talking about that a few days ago, because she is a social media manager. And she said, how can I follow your tips if I am a social media manager? I mean, I gave such a bad example, right, to my colleagues by not being present on social media all day long. And I told her, well, you have to be more strategic with your work. I am not a social media manager, so I don't really know how your day works, but we're trying, she's a new client, so we're trying to take a look at her routine, daily routine, and I try to incorporate healthier things to do early in the morning so she can be more grounded, more focused. But I can tell you what I did about a year ago when I decided to slow down my presence on, I don't know if slow down is the right word. See, that's my Italian, but, to reduce my online presence. So that was the same with Twitter chats. I used to participate in so many Twitter chats during the day, and I decided that that was not the case. I needed to give priority. So I tried to rotate them. One Monday, I participate in a Twitter chat. The next Monday, I participate in a different Twitter chat. And the next Monday again. So I basically rotate the chats. And as far as comments and everything, I try to respond to each comment. But when I see that I'm getting behind with my activity, I send direct messages to the people who comment and engage with me the most. And I tell them, you know what? I still love you, but please know that I am reducing my presence. So if I don't answer to you the next day, please know that I'm not ignoring you. I will get to that, and I will definitely take care of your question or issue or anything. And so if it's not something urgent, I will just take my time, and I will do that during the time that I have allotted for social media. Otherwise, I'll go crazy. There's no way I can do that,
Yeah, that's a good tip. That's a good tip. Sending like private messages to people and to give them that kind of one-on-one and then attention, then explain things. I'm going to try this. Yeah, that's a good tip. Yeah,
just let them know, and they will understand, and then maybe they will do the same. So we can inspire them too.
Would you say it's more of like a mindset thing that they, people need to? I mean, like it's sort of like it seems like it's easy to do, but then I feel like sometimes it's a bit of the mindset, like okay, I'm doing this and I'm not doing that. So it's like the self-perception. Like for example, you feel guilty because it's a self-inflicted thing by not replying. So wouldn't that be something like the mindset that we sort of have to work on?
Yeah, but again, if you are able to connect with that person or those people and let them understand what you're doing, what you're changing in your daily routine, that will make you feel better. Because of course, if you pretend or if you ignore that, then yes, you will be guilty of not responding. And then you will think, oh my gosh, maybe they think that I'm not paying attention to what they're saying, or maybe I don't care about being there. But if you connect with them and you explain the situation or explain what you are doing, they will understand. I mean, I always had very positive reactions, and they were like, absolutely, thank you so much. Actually, how did you do? Because they're curious and they want to try as well, And I see a change. I don't know if you are also noticing, but I've seen a change. At least in my social media community, people are tending to be less stressed out for posting and responding. So responses are taking a little longer than they used to, probably because they want to take a little more time for themselves, which is, I think, a good thing. Again, it doesn't have to, the response doesn't have to happen immediately. It just needs to happen, right? And so even if you wait a few more hours or if you respond the next morning, as I was saying, everything is still there, Nothing has changed. So it's just a matter of time and giving a different perspective of your of the time that you have available.
Yeah. Hey, Sabrina, you have Mitch Jackson is watching us on Facebook.
Mitch. It's been so long.
He loves you. He's a super fan of your content. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So they're just should we? Oh wow, we're almost running out of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let's go on to like the next question. I mean, I think Sabrina shared with us a little bit about like her next steps on, you know, what you're going to do with your career, and
Yeah, share with
also your
us.
move
Yeah.
back to Italy.
Oh, back
Is
to
it?
Italy. Yes, my plan is going back to Italy because my mom is not doing very well, unfortunately. So yes, my plan is to move to Italy for a few months and stay close to her. It will probably be around the end of the year. But I think that will be, well, actually a great opportunity for me to spend time with family. But with my coaching practice, it will be perfect because since 99% of my clients only have one here in San Diego, but the rest are all in different parts of the United States. That will not affect my practice because, you know, with this beautiful technology that we have available, we can be anywhere and still do our business. So I will move to different parts, to a different part of the world, but still be connected with all of you, which is what I love. See, that's the beauty of technology for me. It brings us closer. I see it as a big advantage in our society today. As long as technology doesn't run you, right? Don't become a victim of technology, right? Use it to your own advantage.
I know. Right now we're talking about this. I'm trying to be active on multiple platforms, chatting with people, and now we're talking about
Your control room. Right?
Oh my god, yeah. But after this, it's really interesting. Like, cause yesterday I was really sick, and I actually didn't do much. I just slept, and slept. And today I actually feel a lot better. I feel like after the interview today, all of us guys, we deserve a good night sleep, right? And
Yeah,
a massage, some good food.
Yeah. See, your body said thank you to you
Yeah.
last night.
And the
Yeah.
right foods, yes.
Right?
The right foods.
I think actually this is the hardest part is getting started. Once you get started creating a routine, I'm sure it is not that hard for you, Sabrina. Like I was at the social media conference in San Diego, and all of us, I was eating whatever sugar candy, and Sabrina's like, I packed my own food. I'm just so inspired by this lady. I think it just that has become your identity. Like
Yeah.
it is now, it is almost hard for you to not do this, right?
So true. Yes, absolutely. It's part of my daily life. You
I
know,
see,
this is how I live. This is how I think. This is how I do it. And I love it because I see the results. You know, I see sometimes we go out for dinner and maybe I cheat on something. Maybe I eat like a cupcake or dessert. The next morning I have cold symptoms. I have brain fog. I feel so grumpy. You know,
Wow.
it's crazy how my body reacts to that. It clearly tells me stay away from that.
Wow.
You know, so now I know. Yeah.
Wow. I need to get to that stage. Right now I couldn't tell the difference, but I need to get there.
Well, little by little. Again, you know, the most important thing is that you don't try to do everything all at the same time. Otherwise, you will be stressed out because you don't know how to change your lifestyle like from one day to another. So just incorporate little new habits, maybe one at a time, and see a week, like eating a little better for a week and see how it goes. And then maybe you improve your sleep time the next week and see how it goes, you know, and little by little. And you try to be consistent because consistency helps with the habit formation. If you're not consistent, I mean, if you sleep 3 hours during the week and then you're like, oh, I will catch up this weekend, that's not how it works. You know?
Absolutely.
Sleep is gone, it's gone. You know, right? Yeah, you say, okay, I slept 3 hours on Monday, 3 on Tuesday, so I will sleep 25 hours on Sunday, right? You know, I will sleep all day, right? No.
Sometimes I tend to do that. Yeah, I feel like I'm such a bad example. Like all the bad example, you can use me as a case study. Right? Yeah, I do that.
Yes. But little steps, you know, one habit at a time. You can see the progress, you can see the changes, and you'll be like, yes, I wanted to do more. And that's, you know, the reward, and that's the excitement and the enthusiasm that we have by making those changes and seeing the results and seeing how you work better, you are more approachable, you're happier, you're more positive, you're more productive,
Absolutely.
you're creative. And so you're like, I want to get even better.
That's so amazing. That's great. That's great. So knowing what you know now, Sabrina, what advice would you give to your younger self or others who are going through kind of a similar life journey, like where you were a few years ago? Yeah.
Yes. So as you put on the title of this live show, don't think that hustlers are the winners, because hustling can be good for a short amount of time, but in the long run, it will ruin your life. You cannot run your life with that attitude. So be more mindful and be more look at yourself more. Again, don't think that it's selfish. It's a selfish act. It's part of nature. You are a human being. A human being, you're not a human doing. So you have to focus on yourself first, take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of others. You can take care of your business. You can take care of your family again. So again, pay more attention to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's another question from our dear friend Ross Brand, who has an amazing live streaming show.
I love that.
Yeah. So he asked you if you has cut back on your live streaming, Sabrina.
Yes, I did. I am not very active on Periscope as I used to. Probably Ross can remember I used to go live every day, pretty much. And that's also part of the new me on social media, on live streaming. I am less present, but I gained more confidence. I gained a better understanding of my purpose. I have more clients. I am more focused on my business, because again, first I thought I had the feeling that I was spread out too much. I was doing this, I was doing that, and then now I write on my blog. I have a Facebook group specifically for life-work balance. And so I focus on less things, but with more attention, with more dedication, with more focus. I still want to go back to live streaming because this is my love. I love to chat and interact and engage with people live like we're doing right now. I love it. It's really something that gives me a lot of excitement. I never used YouTube because now with YouTube Live, that's different. But at the time, YouTube was like uploading videos and there was no engagement. And I was like, no, I want the people there asking questions and I want to interact with them. So I will definitely go back to live streaming, but I'm probably changing platform, maybe Instagram. I don't know. But I have to tell you guys, I am ready for the next thing in social media. Maybe Ross knows something because Ross is always, or beyond everything, and he knows about the newest and latest things. But I'm
Ross is amazing. I'm going to share.
I know Ross is super amazing. So maybe Ross knows some secrets for the future. But I'm ready for something new. I did a lot of live streaming since 2015 when Periscope came out, and I was one of the first users. Now I'm ready for the next step. So hopefully I will start something. I don't know. We'll see.
That's good. I remember I listened to a podcast interview on Marie Folio, her podcast, and she called herself the Queen of Disappointment, and meaning that how often she says no to things so that she can stay focused on her own work, priorities, and her clients. So I just love that. Yeah, it reminds me.
That. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that you have to be everywhere in order to attract your audience. You have to be where you feel strong and where you are more confident and where your audience is, because that will also dilute your presence. It will dilute your energy, and you don't want to do that.
Absolutely. Do you want to ask another question, Clarice?
Actually, I have just one little question that you mentioned right at the beginning. I felt that was quite important. Like, let's say, for example, the transformation or sort of changing your diet or changing your habits. Was this like did you have any resistance or procrastination yourself when you start, or you just say, bam, I'm going to start a new routine tomorrow, and then from then on you just
boom. Pretty much, because I told you it took me probably 6-9 months going to different doctors and seeing specialists, and I was like, okay, maybe there's something in my brain, in my head. Something is wrong with my head because I am a crazy person. I'm getting crazy. I don't know what's happening. And so I saw a lot of doctors. Everybody had the same answer for me. Nothing is wrong. You're perfect. I was like, what's going on? So I was very worried. I was very concerned that I had some obscure illness, right, that nobody could treat. And then when I started reading and educating myself and doing all this crazy research, finding that food might be to blame, finding that sleep might be to blame, the lack of sleep might be to blame, and lack of exercise and lack of self-care might be to blame, I decided to completely transform my lifestyle. Completely transform my life. And it took me probably 3 or 4 days until I did everything completely different. That's why I was saying, don't do that, because it will be pretty challenging. And the first week I was like knocked out because I was not eating what I was used to eat. And when you remove sugar immediately and totally from your diet, it gives you a lot of withdrawals. So I had strong headaches, and it was awful. And at first I thought, well, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. But I decided to try, and I asked myself, what do I have to lose? I mean, I've seen any doctor possible. I've done every test possible. Everything looks fine. Something different must be going on, you know? So yes, I completely cut everything that I was eating. I completely changed what I was doing wrong. And the first few days were very rough, but then little by little, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think one habit at a time is wiser, much better. Even if you feel you are hitting the bottom and you have no other choices, like I used to feel.
Well, that's brilliant advice, Sabrina. I hope this gives, our audience sort of like an insight into if they want to cut out sugar and then they're feeling down, helping them to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
They just need to stick it through.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. I
think we can just finish here and maybe just share one parting piece of advice in terms of life-work balance, and also where can people learn more about you, Sabrina?
Yes, absolutely. So try to avoid using work-life balance, which everybody does, because it should be about you first. So give priority to you, life. So life comes first, then work can get done. Stop considering life and work or work and life as competing interests. Doesn't work. You will never achieve balance if you keep them on a competing scale. But think about life first. So you are a human being. You have to pay attention to yourself, and then you will take care of yourself as a business person, and you will see everything. Once you start thinking about that, everything will change in your life and the way you think about you as an individual and you as a business owner or as a business person. So life first, work later. So let's start using life-work balance and not work-life balance anymore.
I love that.
That's a challenge for you. Right? And if you have any questions or you would like to connect with me, you can find me at sabrinacadini.com. So my name, that's my website. I'm at Sabrina Cadini on all social media channels. My Facebook page is Sabrina Cadini Coaching. And as I mentioned before, I have a Facebook group called Yes to Life Work Balance. And you can find it by looking on Facebook, or there's a branded link that is SabCAD, so the first 3 letters of my first name and my last name, .link/yes LWB.
Thank you. I will make sure to share all the links in the comment section.
Yes.
Sabrina.
And yes. Oh yeah, and the next month I think we have another guest coming up. So let I
Oh yes.
do a brief introduction.
So next month date is to be announced, and we have our good friend Dot and Dot Long, I think, and to join us next month. And she is kind of a digital nomad. She's originally born in the US, but has been traveling all over the globe. Right now in Spain, and she's going to share with us how she has become brave again to left her home country in the United States to pursue her dreams in a different country. So definitely join us. Our show run on a monthly basis, normally the last Thursday every month, but sometimes we make changes. Definitely join us and stay tuned and follow us on social media.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love that.
Thank you very much, Sabrina, for being
Thank
here today
you.
with us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to the audiences out there on all the platforms. This has been so much fun.
Oh, thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us live in the audience. We have a bunch of people on LinkedIn, Facebook, so thank you. Sorry we're having trouble with our YouTube channel. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to fix that. And so next month, you are going to watch us also on YouTube. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. See you next month.
See you next month.